the memo. Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Episode 94, Give Me the Hot Sauce. It won't be long until you're hearing those great calls from Stacey King and Adam Amin coming up. We are recording this episode on August 25th, Thursday afternoon, from the Hustle and Flow Studios in beautiful Palatine, Illinois. Stacey's alongside, and Timmy Whispers, most popular guy in America right now. People are loving that Christopher Walken impersonation. Everywhere I go, people say, Whispers has got a dead-on Christopher Walken.
I know. Strange.
Oh, my God.
We're going to start making T-shirts and the whole bit because Whispers is taking off like wildfire.
Well, then I started having dreams about him actually fighting Bane, so that was...
Yeah, that was a great...
It starts to get in your head.
If you missed episode 93, you got to check out near the end of the show, Stacey and Tim going back and forth is classic.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hey,
Maybe you get a throat punch.
Tim, I was telling you about that show on Prime, The Outlaws, where he's one of the characters, and I watched the last couple episodes this week, and every time he talks, I think of you. Yeah. So it's kind of wrecked the show for me.
Yeah.
Because I just see your face all the time. And the funny thing was the last thing in the show, they're trying to pull this con on a drug dealer, and Christopher Walken is organizing. Hey, we got to do this and that, and I'm just like, that's Whispers, man.
Jeez, there's a funny story with this. I used to go to the David Letterman Show a lot because I was in New York all the time for work. And to get tickets, they were free always, but you had to answer these surveys. And then once you got in, you had to fill out a couple of things, and then they'd position your seat based on. So I'd always put down like I can impersonate, Walken and some other people. And the one time, like, screw this, I tossed it, walk in. They guessed it's Christopher Walken.
Oh my gosh!
So I blew it. The one time I didn't write down.
Yeah,
because it would have come up and said, ask him a question or something, something like that. So I blew it.
It's taking over America. Whispers impersonations.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, we want to pass along some congratulations. Zach LaVine and his lovely wife had a baby boy, St. Thomas LaVine. So I know that we've got, if you're watching on Twitch or going to check it out on YouTube, there it is, the lovely baby boy there. And it's got to be an exciting time for the LaVines. Life is good if you're Zach LaVine right now. He just signed that max contract, and he and his wife welcoming a baby boy. So I'm sure Zach couldn't be happier right now, Stace.
No, I mean, he signed a big contract, and he's coming back to help this team, go deep in the playoffs. Got a baby boy. Nothing like being a father.
Yeah, and there's some more photos if you're watching on YouTube.
Beautiful wife, Hunter, and little baby St. Thomas LaVine.
It's been interesting. We've been seeing all these players running in the summer league and playing different venues here and there. And on Sunday, LeBron James was going to make a visit to Seattle and play in Jamal Crawford's, the crossover league. And they had lines winding around the block, and they had to end the game in the middle of the second quarter because there was condensation on the floor. It was just the humidity and everything else. And then that was the game where Chet Holmgren suffered the foot injury and is out for the year. He's going to miss the entire, in case you missed it, he's going to miss the entire year. It's a right foot, the Liz Frank injury, which is very serious, and they're going to have surgery. He's going to miss the entire season. And you wonder, Stacey, if teams are going to start really enforcing, because there's clauses in your contract. You can't do certain things during the offseason, isn't there?
Well, yeah, there is, like skydiving, riding motorcycles, UFC fighting.
What about playing in Pro-Am basketball leagues?
You know what? There's really there's something in the contract. Like Michael Jordan had something in his contract that allowed him to play pickup games.
I remember that.
The joy of the game clause. And I think that's in pretty much every contract there's a joy of the game clause. So each one of these guys, listen, and we talk about this a lot. These guys, are taking a risk going out playing in some of these places. And, the injuries are going to start mounting up because they're not allowing their bodies to rest. And when the season's over after playing 82 games, you would like to see these guys. I know if I was a general manager or a coach or somebody who's making the decisions, I would urge my guys to get away from the game. Go play some pickleball. Go do something. Go on vacation. But you can still work out and lift weights. You can still do those things. But they spend too much time playing basketball and playing in pickup games, and that's how a lot of these guys are getting hurt.
Speaking of pickleball, coming up in our next segment, Jeff Malone is going to join us. He's taken up that in his retirement. He was a great sharpshooter for the Washington Bullets and the Utah Jazz. He's going to be coming up in just a few minutes. And we talk about injuries. Goran Dragic always likes to represent Slovenia in the offseason. He tweaked his knee, and there was initially some concern that it could be somewhat serious, but he's back playing again, and I guess the Bulls are confident he'll be 100% going into training camp.
Yeah, got the word that he went back to playing, and I think he had like 19, 20 points in that game. You see right there, drops 19 and 94-88 win over Croatia after being down by 5 at halftime. You're concerned. You're concerned anytime one of the guys you just bringing in, because, you don't know, there's an uncertainty about Lonzo Ball. And so you're bringing this guy in to give you somewhat depth at that point guard position and give you some insurance, just in case, worst case scenario, Lonzo's not ready to start the season, which I don't think that's going to be a problem from what I'm hearing. I think he's going to be ready for the start of the season. Caruso's healthy. I was over there today and they were talking about, the little Versa climbers?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
This kid, Caruso, did 1,000 feet in 7 minutes. I mean, seriously, think about how crazy that is. He did 1,000. You're climbing. 1,000 in like 7 minutes. And then a couple of the trainers got on there, and one of the trainers got. I'm not going to say his name because he broke down, but he got on there. He's like, "Hey, who was on here last that did 1,000 feet in 7 minutes?" And then the other trainer said, "Oh, that was AC. He was just in here." And so I was like, "Oh, so he's tried to do it, and it didn't work out. It failed miserably." I think he got like 300 in like 25 minutes. Like
AC Fresh.
Yeah, AC Fresh, boy. That tells you a guy's in shape.
Yeah. Hey, our guy YoungJordan shouting out on the Twist chat saying that it's a missed opportunity for Stacey to say, "What are you doing, Dragic? Getting hurt in the summer?"
Those days are over.
He's one of us now, right?
He's one of us. He's in Bulls Nation now.
Yeah.
We open up with open arms and welcome him in to the family.
Yeah.
So get the memo, huh?
Never go against the family, right?
Never go against the family. You'll never hear, "Did he get the memo?" No.
Well, Dragic is 36 now, but Andre Drummond, the other major addition for the Bulls in the offseason, is only 28. And when you look at his career statistics, he's led the league in rebounding a couple of times. His career averages rank right up there with the all-time greats. And he was talking this week about he wants to be remembered as the greatest rebounder of all time when he's done. And it's going to be interesting to see what kind of role he's going to carve out with the Bulls, because obviously Vucevic is the starter, and he's going to play about 30 minutes a game.
Listen, I saw the quote. And he's part of Chicago right now, so I'm not going to kill him, okay? But when he said he's going to be better than Wilt Chamberlain, I'm like, come on, man. What? No way. Wilt Chamberlain is a guy that changed the game. Just because of his athleticism. You heard Bill Russell talk about him, that he's the greatest player of all time. And that's coming from another great player of all time. And when you talk about a guy, look, I'm on my way. By the time I retire, I'll go down as the best rebounder, if not already.
Well, Russell and Chamberlain averaged over 20 rebounds a game every year.
Yeah, but the stories that you hear about, when you hear about Wilt, everybody said you score too much. So Wilt says, "All right,
more ways than one."
Wow, Mark. Mark, he's not even here anymore. Wilt, I ain't mad at you, boy. So
that's another Hall of Fame.
There's two different Hall of Fames, buddy. Okay, there's the basketball Hall of Fame and there's a freaky Hall of Fame, and he's got a bust in there, all right. Yeah.
There's a good year and a great year. A good year has a lot of rubber. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so as I was saying,
he was rehearsing that last night in front of the mirror.
He's performing in Zanies. Before I was rudely interrupted by the two freaks. What I was saying, America, was that this is a guy when they said, "Well, you score too much." So he says, "You know what? Okay, good. I'm going to lead the league in assists."
Yeah.
And he led the league as a 7-footer, led the league in assists. And then they said he couldn't score anymore, and then he went back and led the league in scoring. So you're not going to find any player as dominant as Wilt Chamberlain was. I'm sorry. I mean, Andre's on our team now. And he may go down as a very good rebounder, but you're talking about great rebounder. You're talking about a guy that's putting up 20 rebounds a game. You're putting up 20 rebounds a game and averaging that. That's a great rebounder.
And a guy who played in Detroit and Chicago named Dennis Rodman was pretty good at about 6'7", grabbing the rebounds that he did.
Unsailed. I mean, there's a ton of guys that were great rebounders. So to say you're better than those guys and you're going to go down is great. I love the confidence. If you come out here and get me 14, 15 rebounds for the Bulls and do for the Bulls what you did against the Bulls, then we're in good shape, because he was a Bulls killer when it came to offensive rebounding. I mean, he would probably, I'd like to know what his average is, but I'm guarantee you, it's somewhere between that 5 and 7 offensive rebounds per game against the Bulls. Great offensive rebounder.
Yeah, he had a handful of 20 rebound games in his career against the Bulls. Other big story in the NBA this week, Kevin Durant rescinded his trade request. He made peace. There was a big powwow in Los Angeles with Durant and his agent and Sean Marks and Steve Nash and the owners of the Brooklyn Nets, and they decided, which really was the only logical thing to do, he has a 4-year contract in front of him. Honor your contract and play.
Kudos to the Brooklyn Nets, okay? Yeah. They finally did something that every other team now has to do, okay? The players have too much leverage and power, okay? And at the end of the day, you have a contract. Your contract has multiple years on it. So that means the team has the upper hand. You don't have to trade a Kyrie. You don't have to trade a Kevin Durant, because they have multiple years left on their deal. So if it was a 1-year deal, I see your point. Now you got to say, okay, he doesn't want to be here. We got to try to move him. Boom, boom, boom. But when you're talking about 4 years left on your contract, man, you better shut up and play. And so they finally, the demand was fire Steve Nash, fire Sean Marks, get them out of here. And then if you do that, then I'll stay. Well, the owner said no, and you're going to play. And if you want to, if you don't want to play, then go home and you won't get paid.
Yeah, bravo. I mean, you saw Anthony Davis force his way out of New Orleans when he had 1.5 years left on his contract. James Harden basically quit playing in Houston to force a trade. Ben Simmons did the same thing in Philadelphia. The trend was going to hurt the league, and finally somebody said, no, I'm not going to do it. You've got a contract. You're going to honor it. So we applaud Joe Tsai for holding his ground, and now Kevin Durant's going to play for the Brooklyn Nets, which elevates them to a status of contender. I mean, when you look at the Eastern Conference, which is already loaded, people were projecting Brooklyn after a Durant trade as maybe a play-in team. Well, they're in the race for a top 4 spot now.
Well, I mean, they're going to be a dangerous team, because if you have Kyrie Irving playing a full season,
Ben Simmons
playing a full season. See, Ben Simmons now doesn't have to worry about shooting.
He'll play center.
You can play him as stretch 4 or 5, whatever. Yeah. He now can run your transition, get out and break, because, Kyrie Irving wants to get out and run anyway. So you pitch the ball ahead to him or Durant. Okay, you get Joe Harris back. You get a 3-point shooter. So the players and the pieces that they have on that roster is a team that's really a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference that can come out of the Eastern Conference if they stay healthy.
And they picked up Royce O'Neal in a trade that nobody really talked about. But now that you've got all those pieces back, he fits in perfectly as a defensive-minded small forward.
Well, he kind of plays that role of Bruce Brown.
Right,
right. And a guy that can make 3-point shots. He can shoot 3. So a lot of versatility with Royce O'Neal. But at the end of the day, you're going to see a team now that has something to prove. They're going to come out and they're going to say, hey, look, you know what? Let's let bygones be bygones. We got our hands slapped. The owner slapped our hands. Now we're going to play. And let's go out here and win. Because it's all about championships. These guys are concerned about their legacy. Okay? At the end of the day, Kyrie Irving is concerned about his legacy. At the end of the day, Kevin Durant is concerned about his legacy. And if you're going to keep pulling these stunts, then your legacy is going to be shot. And people are going to look at you when your career is over as like, this guy, could never be happy, never be content. He's not a leader, never led a team anywhere. He was always a guy that, like Charles Barkley said, he rode the bus when someone else was driving it. And he is such a talented player that he can lead a team to a championship. He just got to lose the rabbit ear, stop getting into arguments with people about the silliest things on Twitter. I've never seen a player like Kevin Durant's status get into more,
Twitter beefs,
social media fights with fans. Like those, listen, lions don't care about the opinion of sheep. That's your attitude. You're on top of the mountain. The sheep are down there. Stay on top of the mountain. You don't hear it. You don't hear the noise. The only time you hear the noise is when you go down there, it's time to eat. Then you hear the sheep, bah, bah.
One guy who's no sheep is Chicago native Patrick Beverley. He's been fighting and clawing his way to a really good NBA career. He's getting paid very well, and now He was traded from the Utah Jazz to the Los Angeles Lakers for another Chicagoan, Talen Horton-Tucker, along with Stanley Johnson, who had a cup of coffee with the Bulls. How does Patrick Beverley fit with the Lakers? If you're watching this, you see Stacey shaking his head.
America. 5 years too late. Okay, this is the worst. This is the worst move for the Lakers, if you ask me. It seems like they've gotten older now.
Right.
Two guys they just left that let go were 24, 25 years old. They've been talking about them being too old anyway.
Younger and more athletic.
Yes. And now you lose two young athletic wing players. And how about like this? How about this? You could have got Patrick Beverley probably for a future second-round pick. You didn't have to give up, one of your good young players for him. You could have possibly thrown a second-round pick at Utah to get rid of him.
Would have had to match his salary.
What kind of salary he got?
Well, Horton-Tucker's making like $10 million. And then they had to throw in Stanley Johnson, too, to equal what Pat Bev is making.
I'm not even making that trade because the simple fact is Patrick Beverley brings nothing to your team other than he's not that defensive stopper that he once was.
Right.
Okay, he's not that guy that goes, you go out there and you stop a guy. He's not that guy. He's still an adequate defensive player, but you just kind of shook up the dynamics of your team. How is Russell Westbrook going to get along with him?
They hate each other.
That's what I'm saying. How your chemistry is completely messed up.
They're going to have
now.
to trade Westbrook.
You're completely messed up, and then you've gotten older. It seems like, I guarantee you, man, I've been reading some of what fans have to say. When you read, like somebody will have an article, and then you read what the fans have to say, because I always like read the comments. And there's a lot of faction out there that says, hey, they can't wait for LeBron James to retire or go somewhere else, because a lot of the fans are really upset that the team has no assets. They're giving their assets away and not really getting anything in return. And this is an old team. It's like LeBron is bringing all his friends to the Lakers, and it's not helping them at all. They're not winning.
Well, you watch for training camp, they'll bring back Dwight Howard and Carmelo Anthony too, and they'll still be the oldest team in the league. Hey, when it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact our good friend. He's the king of insurance, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovich. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. If you're watching us on the live Twitch feed or checking us out on YouTube, you can see all his information there. Jeff is a great Chicago sports fan. He backs all of the Chicago teams and been a big presence on Bulls games for a number of years. And he's also got a very catchy jingle, Stacey.
Nationwide is on your side.
Yes, indeed. So contact our good buddy Jeff Vukovich, Nationwide Insurance. We got a special treat coming up next. One of the great mid-range shooters of the late 80s and early 90s, Jeff Malone, our special guest, as episode 94, Give Me the Hot Sauce, rolls on. Episode 94, Give Me the Hot Sauce, rolls on. It is now time to welcome in a very special guest. You know him, the older fans who've watched the NBA through the 80s and 90s. Jeff Malone, a sharpshooting guard for the Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz and a couple of other teams, averaged 19 points a game for his NBA career. Jeff, welcome in. How did you and Stacey get to know each other?
Well, we played against him all those years, and he's kicking my butt over there in Chicago. And, but when I met Stacey, and then we ended up playing together a little bit in Miami. So been knowing him a while, man. Great guy, man. And I watch him on TV when you guys have the games, too. So
your checks in the mail, Jeff. Your checks in the mail. Okay.
I appreciate that, man.
We talk about this new NBA and, how shooting is a premium now. And, when I talk to some of the old guys that played, when we played, I say, well, what would you have done in this league? And you were one of the best shooters in your time. How would you have done in this league with the way the rules are set up for shooters?
Well, I would have had to stretch my game. So, Trace, I was a mid-range guy, and I come off screens, and I did all my stuff within the three-point line. But I would have had to improve on my three-point shooting. No question about that. But one thing I don't like guys stand in the corner and wait. I like to move without the ball. But I would have had to improve my three-point shooting. I think if I had done that, I'd probably be, much better player in this generation. So.
Well, you made a couple of all-star teams. You averaged 24 points a game one season. And as you mentioned, the fact the game has changed so much. Back then, you were trying to get the best shot as close to the basket as you could. Now everybody's just driving in the basket, kicking it out to the three-point line. What do you think about today's game? Do you think it has been kind of reduced to a three-point shooting contest a little bit?
Yeah. Yeah, I think the game is in a great place. I think we got some real, even when LeBron and KD and those guys moved, I think the game is in a great place. But, we used to run on the fast break and try to get a layup.
Right.
These guys run to the corner and stand like P.J. Tucker. He'll run straight to the corner, and they don't try to get the layups and the high percentage shots. So it's just a long distance shooting game. And I work in a program out here called Reach, working with young kids, club type of system. All my guys come out there, and I try to get them to start in close shooting. They jacking up threes, 11, 12 years old. So Steph Curry and those guys can put this game in a place. And everybody, when I go to camps and do things, they talk about I said, who's your favorite player? They'll skip over KD and LeBron. They go straight to Steph. So, hey, it is what it is. And that's the new game. And I don't know if it's going to go back, but I like running set stage. You know how you run pin down stage, things like that.
Single doubles.
Screens, like, single doubles. They don't do that anymore. Every now and then they may do that, but the game is just a pick and roll, kick out, and just a little different. But I enjoy watching it. It's a good game.
We were talking about before we came on. We were talking about Pat Riley, and both of us played in Miami. Whoa. I tell stories to our listeners about playing for Pat Riley, and I think sometimes they don't believe me. Like, they're like, "Oh, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad." So why don't you give our listeners a little insight of what it was like for that 1 year you played down in Miami?
Okay, I land in Miami. After Philly let me go, I land, I get there, beautiful Miami, right? You're feeling like, man, I'm in Miami. Well, once I got to that practice thing, when he started doing those 17s, they was timing it. They would tell you, if you didn't make it, you have to do 4 or 5 for a day. If you didn't make it, you have to keep doing it until you make it. Yep. So, like I was telling you before the show, I called my wife one night after being there about 3 or 4 days. I said, listen, I'm getting ready to retire, man. I can't do this now. But she told me to hang in there. I hung in there, and it really worked out for me. I lost some weight, and the guys were great. Lonzo Mourning and Tim Hardaway. And I enjoyed the atmosphere, just talking to Pat. But that was a hard 2 months, man. That was hard. But it helped me, though, so I can't complain.
Yeah, Jeff, I work with...
Wait, one more thing.
Yeah.
Then we met you guys in the playoffs. We met you guys in the first round of the playoffs. See? And then with that, and I'm going to tell you what he did before the game. He played Rocky. Here comes Rocky. Man, we got fired up, right? Man, Stacey, we got it there. We were down by 20. I told the guys, man, we need to put that Rocky song back on. We met you guys first round when I was down. We got knocked out 3 straight there.
Stacey, was that the MJ Hooters series?
No. He's talking about is that with the 72-10 Bulls?
It could have been. That was what, 95, 96?
Yeah, it was the 70s. And we had beat them in Miami because we had like 6 players because we had just made that trade for Tim Hardaway. And he hadn't came in yet, so we played him with like 6 players. And then Rex Chapman had a huge game, had like a 40-point game. And I remember telling Rex after the game, I was like, all right, man, I'm just going to tell you right now,
done.
You finished. MJ going to get you alive. And Rex like, I know Michael, and I know what he's going to do. I'm like, no, you don't know. You think you know, but you don't know. And so we go into the playoffs, and Pat Riley makes us go, we're playing the Bulls in the first round. And we go back to two-a-days. And I was like, why in the hell are we going to go back to 2-a-days when we know we're not going to beat this team? Like, can we just go to 1 practice? But we went to 2-a-days.
Right.
And so we go out there, and it wasn't pretty. It was not pretty. Michael Jordan destroyed Rex Chapman. It wasn't pretty. Yeah, the Rocky theme, they should have played it.
Put that on.
Yeah, they needed to play that, man. It didn't help us, man. We got smoked. It wasn't pretty.
Yep.
Jeff, you broke into the league in '83. That's the year before Jordan arrived from North Carolina. So you had a lot of head-to-head battles playing that shooting guard position. Give our viewers and listeners an idea of what it was like to guard a Michael Jordan in his prime.
Well, Mike's the best I ever played against. I get asked that question every time I'm at camp. Who the toughest you played against? Even though I played against some great 2 guards, but Mike, you guys know him. His competitive level, his skill set, and the things he can do, man, and the way he was flying through the air. He was just a different type of guy. But what I tried to do with Mike, and I think we have to do with great players, we tried to run Mike off many screens as possible. And I had a little success scoring against Mike because of that. Rick Mahorn, Jeff Rulin, Moses. We used to just try to pick Mike to death. And I didn't need much time to get up and shoot. So, and I think that's the way we approach Mike, because you're not going to stop him. And people always talking about guys who can score. And they always bring Kevin Durant in, and he's a great scorer. But But that Michael Jordan, man, that guy he'll do some damage to you. He's best ever, but he's the GOAT in my book. So, so he's best all time.
You talk about your time in Utah, playing with 2 Hall of Famers,
Yeah.
And how that experience was. Because that Utah team, when Frank Layden was there, you guys had a pretty nice team with those players. And tell a little bit about playing with Malone and Stockton. I always thought that team has always been one of the most fundamentally sound teams during that era. The back screens, the single doubles, the pin downs, the pick and rolls. I mean, you can imagine what those guys would do like in a pick and roll in this day and age.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, I tell you, when I left Washington 7 years there and went there, the atmosphere out there, a lot of people realize the fan base. They love their Jazz out there. You guys have been there, and it was just fun being on that team and playing, like you say, 2 great Hall of Famers and great guys, especially Stockton more than Carl. And I didn't even say that. but it was just a great atmosphere. And Jerry Sloan. And I have a lot of coaches in this league, but I loved playing for Jerry Sloan. He's one of my favorite coaches all the time. And we worked on that stuff every day at practice. Cross screen, down screen, and that pick and roll between John and Carl. Oh, man, he slipped that screen. You've been there when he slipped on you. Go out there, he slipped that screen.
Yeah.
He used to do that. But I'm going to tell you one thing about Mailman, though. We practice, right? He don't go hard in practice. He kind of he was a great player. He just kind of chill. He don't shoot a lot in practice. When we get to that game, man, he turns it up. He turns it up because John is saying, man, John go hard at practice. Everybody else, but man, just kind of float around. He might take 2 or 3 shots the whole practice. When we get to that game, man, he gets it down though. So I really enjoy playing with those guys. And now I'm involved in their junior jazz program, and I've been back about 5 times this summer. And I go back and get a chance to see some old fans and Donovan Mitchell. I'm meeting the new guys now, but I'm so close to them right now, living in Phoenix. So I'm up all the time, stage going out there working with the little kids, and people come up and we talk about the old days. So it's a lot of fun for me right now.
Hey, Jeff, tell our listeners about John Stockton. I know that talking to ex-players, they said that, he had that choir boy look, he played at Gonzaga and all that, but he was nasty. He'd set that screen, he'd grab your shorts, he'd give you an elbow. People said he was small, but he could be tough.
I don't think he was nasty. I thought he was just tough. I didn't think John, he never came across me. He's a great guy. He's a quiet, stay-at-home type. When the kids come in his driveway at his yard, he turned the sprinkle system on. He's that kind of guy. Hey, Stacey, he really used to do that. Stacey wet the kids up, they run up. He's a private guy, but I never looked at John like he was nasty, but he is tough, though. And I'm going to tell you something. Leaving Washington, I was shooting about, 48, couple years, 49. When I got to Utah, I shot 50 the first 2 years because of the way he distributed the ball. And we run the break, run wide. You turn around, you just feel the ball coming here. You open, look back because it hit you, it hit you. And my percentage went up around 50, 51 2 of those years in Utah. So love playing with John. He's a great player.
We talk about the different eras and, what's the difference between when we played in the 90s and where they're playing it today. And one of the things I notice is that this era, guys, they don't practice a lot. Because they don't practice at all. Where we would come in, we could play back-to-back games, and we was doing a full practice the next day. There was not a lot of days off, but when you look at this era players, man, if they had 2 games in 2 games in a row, they're taking the night off. They're taking a day off in practice, and it's amazing that we see that.
Yeah, I agree. When in Washington, when I first got in States, I'm a little older than you. Man, you're right. We used to practice, man. We'll get off the plane and go to practice.
Yeah.
But now, load management, how about a loaded baked potato? You don't know load management. Where'd that come from, load management? What is that?
It's crazy because, like, I sit here and I think about, now we were just talking about this today, and I was like, I don't ever remember having days off. And then even if you did have a day off, let's say someone played, like MJ, for instance. MJ played 40-something minutes, okay? Then Phil would say, all right, we're going to go, 4-on-4, 3-on-3.
Right.
You were constantly doing something every single day. But I don't remember having days off as a team. And we didn't have no days off in Miami. You could count them all on one hand. I think 3 of them just was an all-star break.
Right. But let me ask you a question. Now, the injury, I know it's injuries all 80s, 90s, but don't you think these guys get hurt a lot with all the time they have off and all the things they have compared to what we have from a medical standpoint? I see these guys get nicked up all the time now.
Yeah.
And we was going back to back. we didn't have no private jet in the beginning of the league. Now it came on toward my end.
Yep.
We in first class. We in the airports. We stand up all night in Cleveland, get into Detroit, go to sleep real quick, get up and go play. I don't know. I just see a lot of Knicks, man, with these guys. So they should be. I don't know. I see what you see, Stacey. I really do. That's just the way the league gets down with all this rest and going on the road. Let's take a break. And Kyrie, he'll go say he got some personal issues. Kyrie will go away for 2 weeks. And we couldn't do that, Stacey.
No, I mean, one of the things I've also attributed with their injuries is that, you know, they don't take time off during the summer. You know, they're out there playing. I mean, you play a full 82 games, and then you turn around, you get to the playoffs, or you made the playoffs, and then you take a little time off, like a week off, and then you're in these summer leagues, and you run around playing in all these summer leagues, and that's something we didn't do. You know, I know Phil Jackson used to tell us, because our season always went to June, you know, when you win in championships like that, Jeff. Right. You know, you go until June, you know. So he would always tell us, like, hey, look, come in October, come in about 70% shape. And then we'll work our way. We don't care how our record is in preseason. We'll work our way through. And guys, you know, guys didn't play basketball during the summertime. That was the time you used to strengthen your body, get away from the game for a little bit. But you lifted weights. You did, you know, you did your strengthening and your stretching and the massage part of it to keep your body fresh. But I liken it to a tire. You know, you only get so many miles on a tire before the tread wears off and it blows out. And you're starting to see a lot of these guys get injured. I mean, we just lost a rookie, you know, this summer, you know, playing a pickup game, you know, and hurt his knee. So, you know, all these extra games and stuff that they're playing, I think that's got to be some kind of a concern.
Yeah. Well, these guys got private coaches downstate. They always doing something in the gym and working out. I used to go play tennis, man, and get away from basketball. And I hang out with my family and my friends. But now these guys got all these people around them. I think they're just pushing them. I know they want to get better and you have to work, but you're right. You got to reset this thing and push away a little bit and go relax a little bit, man, and enjoy yourself. So, but I guess if you do that, they'll say you're not working on your game. Because Anthony Davis made a comment, I haven't shot a ball in X amount of days. People went crazy. Yeah. They said, you know, they were like, yes, you ain't shooting. So, and then they get in the gym. I think sometimes they may be overdoing it in little states. I really do.
Hey, Jeff, and getting ready for this interview, I was looking up some information on you, and I saw that your aunt was the first African-American graduate of the University of Alabama. What did she tell you about that experience?
Oh, that was great, man. Vivian Malone, man. She passed away a few years ago, man, and she was a great lady. And we kind of sat down and talked about just that struggle, man. You know, you back in Alabama in those days, and you know, being in that classroom, man. She was a strong young lady. She had to endure a lot of, you know, people just saying things, and she hung in there though. She hung in there and she graduated, and we're so proud of her, man. And she'll talk about all the experiences and things we went through. And this is legendary. And then when I used to go back to Mississippi State, we'll stop at Alabama. They got a little shrine for there with some of their name on it. So it's a good deal down there in Alabama. They have something, events for her occasionally. So that's a special moment. She was a great person.
So, Jeff, you told us earlier you're working in camps and you're helping young kids, and you know, you're flying back to Utah and their camps down there. Do you ever see yourself as a coach? You ever see yourself getting into coaching?
Well, Stacey, you know, I coached in the early leagues of the, you know, somebody in San Diego, Yakima, Washington. I was doing that.
Oh, Yakima. CBA, baby. Oh, I've been there many times. I've been there many times, baby. Okay. I mean, there's not a lot of things to do. It's like I Am Legend in Yakima. It's like I felt like Will Smith and I Am Legend in Yakima, baby. It's like, woo, I got to get up the hills, have eyes.
I opened up the D League, so I was in Columbus, Georgia for about 5 or 6 years. I enjoyed coaching. One thing Stacey got to me, I just got tired of being away from my family. My kids were young at the time, and I missed a lot, though. So I kind of stepped away for a year. And once I did that, Stacey, I never went back.
That's exactly.
Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I said, Jeff, man, well, you missing all of this. So, and then but the thing I do here is called Reach Basketball. It's a little club. I have a grandson now, Stacey, 11-year-old. He's on my team. He's my point guard. So I just enjoy. We do after school programs, we do clinics, we do camps, we have academy, we train, and I just enjoy giving back like that. And there's a lot of ex-sons, and like Fat Lieber lives about 5 minutes from me. Man, Fat play. Stacey, are you playing pickleball now?
You know what? I just had hip surgery, recovering from hip surgery, but that's the number one thing on my list when I'm able to move around, baby. Pickleball. Not hide the pickle, but pickleball. Like, you know, oh, America. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry, I meant pickleball. You know what I meant. Freak.
Stacey, when you get out, hey, you got to play pickleball, man. I got to have a knee replacement in about 5 months. So I'm going to the AllStar Game. Right after the AllStar Game, when I come back from Salt Lake, I'm going to do my surgery. But pickleball, man, it's a beautiful game. You can play with your kids. And it's a social game where I meet a lot of people. And once you start talking to people from Chicago, because in Phoenix, you have a lot of people coming from all over because of the cold. And we run into people from all the back east, and they come out here. So this is a fun game. When you get back right, just try it a couple of times, Stacey.
Oh, no, I'm going to try it because I've heard so much about it. People talk about it. I have a lot of friends that play, and they're like, oh, man, you got to play this pickleball. You got to play this pickleball. And I'm like, okay, with this bad hip, I ain't moving nowhere. If I can just stay located in one spot, I'll play pickleball, okay? But I saw it. I saw it the other day. I think ESPN ran a special on it, how the game was created. And I was just like, I was so amazed at that. I'm like, as soon as the doctor gives me the okay, I'm gonna be out there playing pickleball.
It's the fastest growing sport in America across the country.
It's
moving. It's moving. You know.
Yeah, they're gonna have professional leagues now.
Yeah.
I'm not a pro. I won't be a pro. I won't be a pro, but I'll be out there beating some old ladies. Oh yeah, Tiger King. Yeah.
Okay.
Tiger King.
That's a different show altogether.
It's a different show out there, Jab. I'm out there, baby. I'm out there.
You love to golf.
Yeah, I can golf. Oh yeah. Tim, don't even say anything. Tim. Tim.
Have you guys seen him golf? Yeah,
this is my golf partner right here, Timmy Whispers.
Yeah, you hear that sound, and then, oh man, that's some bullshit. About 40 times a day.
Hey,
he don't look like Charles Barkley.
No, hell no. You know what? Don't listen to Whispers. Okay, this is the guy, every time he hits a T-ball, he's yelling 4. He's yelling 4 in the fairway. 4. Right. I'm like, oh, man,
well, that's because the guy's on the green. I know they're 400 yards up. I could still hit him.
You're yelling 4 on your backswing.
You know what? This guy, listen, he can play, though. But I like golf. And, now that I got my hip replaced, and I know you just said you're getting that knee replaced, definitely do it, man, because, I'm telling you, I wish I would have done this 5 years ago because I've been sitting around, Jeff, waiting for them to come up with some less invasive surgery, like some kind of injections or something, it just ain't happening. And so I was like, you know what? After the season, I was in so much. I was on bone, bro. And so I was like, you know what? I got to get this done, man. And I'm so glad that I did it. And it's a process. You know what I'm saying? But I feel so much better. No more pain in the hip. So I'm getting ready for pickleball. I'm moving much better now than what I was last year. So, yeah, I would urge you to get that done, bro.
Yeah, it's amazing you said that because I did that with my knee. I went to the orthopedic surgeon in 2013. Instead, I said, give me a shot, man. I was trying to wait for something, too. I didn't want to. How people say, don't have surgery. And I wish I had done it in 2013. But I'm going to get it done after the All-Star game. I got a few. I'm going back to Washington, but they having they changed their name 25 years ago. So they bring back a lot of ex-bullets and stuff like that. I'm going to go up for that in October, November. I'm going to hit Utah in February. But as soon as I get back from Utah, boom, I'm going in.
Yeah. It just improve your way of life. You know, I mean, I'm serious. Like, I would get up in the morning and get on my phone for the Uber app to see if I can get a ride to the toilet. That's how bad my hip hurt. That's how bad. I didn't even want to walk the 10 steps to the bathroom, Jeff. I was like, let me just call Uber and see if they can come by and pick me up and take me to the bathroom, bro.
Get you a tow truck, man. They'll pull you.
Yeah, you'll feel 1,000 times better, man.
I know.
You'll feel 1,000 times better.
My dad did about 5 years ago. He told me he feels much better now, so he's good too.
We got a friend. His name is Clyde. And Clyde Harris, he got both his knees replaced, and he's back to playing basketball. He's out running around, jumping. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, he did.
How old is he?
How old is he? About 54?
57.
Yeah, 57 years old.
Man.
Yeah, Buddy Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, he like Buddy Lee. But he's out playing. He's been playing for a while. He runs on the treadmill. He did we were at a party, and somebody was, this guy was talking about his knee was hurt. He needed to get replacement. And so he gave us like a little demonstration. This dude did a squat all the way to the floor. And I was just like, oh, my knees started hurting just watching it. And but he said, this is what happens when you get a knee replacement. You can do this stuff now. You go back to doing your regular riding bikes, doing all the things, the activities that you were doing before, you can do again.
Right. That's true. Okay. I'm gonna get it done. Don't worry. I'm gonna get it done. Yeah.
All right, man. I want to see you out there, boy. I want to see you out there, boy.
Right.
Bet on the golf course, baby. We might play some pickleball. And when
Now,
I'm done,
are you going to All-Star game this year? You're not going to Utah. Everybody always look at Utah like,
man,
don't look at Salt Lake like that, Stacey. Hey, that's a beautiful state.
I like Utah. I love Utah.
You think?
No, I go out to stay in Park City. I like
Yeah,
Utah.
Park City's nice.
Okay, the only thing I had a problem with Utah as a player. Okay,
Nightlife.
the nightlife. Everything shut down at like 10 o'clock. It's like you can't get nothing. You can't go nowhere at like 10 o'clock during the weekday. You can't even order beer. You can't even order alcohol
I know.
in a certain period. You know what I'm saying?
At $2
But I ain't
join
gonna
the
lie
club.
though, Jeff. I ain't gonna lie. I will say this about Utah. Okay, I will say this about Utah. All right, they got some beautiful women. I'm not lying there.
Shock you.
They got some beautiful women
Yep.
in Utah. People are L.A., Miami. Man, that is a gold mine out there, boy, Utah. Oh, Lord have mercy.
When I first got drafted in the league, my point guard, y'all remember Frank Johnson?
Yeah, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank told me, Frank said, we were talking one day, we was getting ready to go on a road trip. And Frank said, hey, young fella, don't sleep on Utah. I said, man, ain't nothing in Utah. That's the way I used to talk when I was young. Frank said, don't sleep on Utah, man. But I still didn't believe it. So I used to stay in my room in Utah. It was a rest city for me. I didn't go anywhere. I didn't do anything. But once I got traded out there, and I go around and I said, oh, man, it's not bad out here. So, and the people are very nice, too. So I enjoy playing in Utah. Really.
Yeah, good fan base.
Good
Great fan base.
Great fan base.
But the women.
Yeah, cutie pies out there, man.
And you just reminded me I need to go back out to Park City and hang out in Utah.
Yeah, Mailman, Mailman got about 5 or 6 dealerships. You riding around town, Carmel, then you'll see Stockton dealership over here. So they after Larry Miller paid, before they had a little arrangement with him. He owned a lot of dealerships. He's selling here, but those guys got those dealership deals going on out there now.
He took care of them. That's what you're
Yeah,
supposed
they
to
did.
do.
They took care of him. Good deal.
Well, Jeff Malone, a 2-time NBA All-Star, averaged 19 points a game in his career. Our special guest on episode 94, Gimme the Hot Sauce. Stacey's a business tycoon now. He has his own signature hot sauce. So we'll make sure we get that sent down to Chandler, Arizona. You can enjoy some of that.
You like hot sauce?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm from the South.
Okay. Well, you're going to like my hot sauce, okay? It's going to be some of the best
So we'll
hot
send
sauce
that your way.
Yes, we got
I
our
appreciate
producer,
that, man. I like to try that.
Maddie. She's going to get your address, and we're going to send you out our whole selection. I got 4 bottles coming to you. Okay.
Goes well with that dry heat.
Okay. Hey, my son loved it over there in the summer.
Yeah.
It was cold. When you weather guy, I told him, I said, Chicago's a nice city, man. A lot of great restaurants, great jazz. He loved it over there, man. So
His son works for the Bulls.
Nice.
Yeah. Windy City. Yeah, Windy City.
I saw him over at the Advocate Center a couple of weeks ago when I was over there.
Yeah, I'll probably be over in the spring. I can't come in the wintertime now, Stacey. I don't have a coat out here. Hey, Stacey, I don't have a coat out here. I got to buy one, Stacey, when I go to the Washington.
Nah, you don't need one.
No, you won't need one.
What?
No, you don't need
Stacey,
one.
I'm going to tell you something before we go. The coldest places I've ever been in NBA, and we came to play you guys one time, and we went to Minneapolis. Those are the 2 coldest places I've ever been in my life.
You ain't lying.
Yeah.
You ain't lying. Hey, listen, I tell people all the time, Minneapolis is a cold place. You know it's cold when they have stuff built in your car and you can plug it into the little money thing where you have to, what do you call those things?
Toll booth?
No, not the toll booth, but the thing you got to put money in and then you leave your car for an hour or so.
Parking meter?
Parking
meter. You can plug those into the parking meter. They have them built into the cars in Minnesota. It's the craziest thing because it gets so cold that your engine will freeze up if you don't have one of those kind of cars. And, of course, I didn't have one of those kind of cars, and my car froze up. Yeah. So I learned very quickly. Hey, you still drink? What is it? The Cavassier? What you drink? What is that stuff? Brandy?
Oh man, I've moved over to the red wine now.
Oh,
there you go. A lot healthier for you.
We would go every trip we go on or whatever. We'd have dinner. We'd be at the bar or something. Jeff would get one of those, those big glasses.
Yeah, the big snifters.
Yes. And he'd have one of those. And he'd be sitting there like, Mr. Rourke on Fantasy Island. What y'all know about this? What y'all know about this? And I didn't know nothing about that. I don't mess with that brown boy. I done moved to wines too, baby. Allah.
Yeah. Good glass of red and a good steak, some fish.
Yes.
What's wrong with that, man?
But he was a classy dude.
Absolutely.
Classy guy.
Hey, Jeff, good luck with that upcoming knee surgery, and thanks so much for joining us on Give Me the Hot Sauce. We appreciate it very much.
Anytime, guys. Stay
All right, Jeff, thanks.
man. Thanks, guys.
Stay in touch, boy.
Okay.
Trying to score the best hot sauce in the game? Well, listen up, because we have a variety of flavors that will bring some spice into your life. That's right. Give Me the Hot Sauce has the best small batch organic sauces for your kitchen. Whether it's Chicago-style red sauce with a garlic twist, fan favorite San Pedro Verde, our spicy Sweet King's Q, or the hottest of the bunch, Chicago Fire, burn your goddamn eyeballs out of your head.
That's hot, Chris.
That is hot. Stop by GimmeTheHotSauce.com. That's GIMME, and use code KING21, like the Kings of New York, to get 21% off your first order.
You have no idea how much it cost us to get Christopher Walken to do an ad read for the hot sauce.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Great stuff. You know, your buddy at Angel Water is going to be really jealous that he didn't get that treatment.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Shout out to Cheap Little Legs, baby.
That takes a little more coin.
Yeah, a little more coin other than a handshake and friendship.
Oh, my goodness.
Sorry, Andy. I didn't want to throw you under the bus like that.
We'll tell you all about Angel Water in a bit, but first we want to talk a little Bears football. They wind up the preseason Saturday night in Cleveland against the Browns, and the Browns are kind of a mess with the whole Deshaun Watson story. But right here in Chicago, people are wondering what kind of quarterback Justin Fields is going to be in year two. He only played a couple of series, well, actually one series in the game against the Seahawks, and let him down the field, and they played. He looked pretty good, and I think people are looking for reasons, Stacey, not to like Justin Fields. They talk about all the second-year quarterbacks and breakout guys. Nobody mentions Justin Fields anymore.
The lack of respect is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, you see Trey Lance gets a lot of attention. Zach Wilson in New York, who's hurt, has been getting a lot of attention.
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence. Mac Jones in New England.
Yeah.
Some of those guys really deserve the attention because they had great rookie years. Mac Jones especially was like the top rookie last year.
Yeah, he got them to the playoffs last year.
But this kid, is not getting any kind of attention at all. And I'm sure it's going to have a chip on his shoulder. They got to protect him. At the end of the day, they're having a good preseason, but the offensive line still a problem, and they got to keep him upright. But the kid's too talented, man. He's just too talented. I love when he's on the move. He keeps his eyes up the field. The officials have to protect him too, because there was a game I think last week where he slid, and clearly he was sliding, and the guy came almost decapitated him. That's got to stop. You got to protect the kid, man. It's terrible.
Yeah, that happened to him last year too.
Yeah.
And the Bears have been kind of experimenting the offensive line. They moved Tevin Jenkins, who kind of disappeared for a couple of weeks. People were thinking he was going to get traded. They moved him from tackle to guard. He could wind up the opening day starter at right guard, and it's nice that they're not giving up on a kid that was drafted so highly. Of course, he went to that other school in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we don't mention them in the air. If you didn't go to University
You're not
of Oklahoma,
a Sooner, yeah.
We don't talk about it. But he's a Bear.
Yeah.
So he's got to protect our quarterback. And like you said, Mark, it's good that they didn't give up on him. Kid's got a huge upside. He's got a lot of size on him. He's strong. Just got to be patient with him. You got to grow with him. And he'll get better. But at the same time, the Bears have to stay away from the injury bug. They have to. They still got some questions at the receiver spot. Guys got to get open, because you can't leave this kid back there, especially when there's blitzes coming. You got to be able to he's got to give him a chance to find receivers. So I'm looking forward to it. I know it's preseason and they're 2-0, got a chance to go 3-0 against the Browns because there's no Deshaun Watson. And so I don't even know who the backup there is now. Is it Brissett, or who's the backup down there?
Yeah, Jacoby Brissett's going to be the starter. They had Josh Dobbs from Tennessee, played a lot in their last preseason game.
Yeah. So the Bears should win that preseason, and that should give them a little bit of confidence starting the regular season. Because I don't know who they open up against.
San Francisco at Soldier Field.
Oh, see, that's
going to be a tough game.
That could be a win for them.
Could be.
It could be a win because, San Francisco, the first game at home. Look, there's a schedule right there. Thank you, guys. Look at that. Oh, Lord. Oh, man. Okay, so realistically,
they can win a couple of those games.
They can win at least 4 of those games before the first 6.
Yeah.
San Francisco, the Texans, New
Giants,
York Giants,
Commanders.
Right. Is Kirk Cousins still the quarterback for the?
Yeah, he's still there.
And he has a terrible record.
We got a shot there. We got a shot there too. And if we want to even go down further, the 3 games that I see them having a hard time with is Green Bay, the Cowboys, and the Patriots. But Miami, they could beat them too. So, I mean, we could be looking at right now 5-3, baby, in the first week from week through week 9, baby. Woo, Lord.
And if you're listening to the podcast, call up the schedule on your phone because Stacey's looking at the screen and,
Yeah, I'm looking at the screen, so I'm kind of cheating, America. This is what happens when you upgrade, when you go from being a small fish, a big fish in a little.
Yeah, our graphics department doing a great job.
Yes, our graphics department is doing a great, so we can actually see what's going on. Okay, the Lions.
Cisco.
Okay, look, the Lions. They can beat the Lions. They got Lions twice at weeks 10 through 18. They can beat the Falcons. They can beat the Jets. Man, who said the Bears going to suck? Who said that?
It's 5.5.
Every national media outlet.
Okay.
But 5.5 in Vegas?
Yeah.
Listen.
Really?
It's crazy.
I'm telling you right now, these are winnable games. The only games I see, I'm looking at week 10 to 18. There's only Green Bay, Buffalo. Okay. Philadelphia could. I don't know. But that's still a winnable game.
Maybe split with the Vikings.
You got the Jets. You got the Vikings. You got 2 times with the Lions. Man.
What about the Lions? They're the Hard Knocks team. Dan Campbell taking over the country by storm, man.
I'll tell you, Dan Campbell. Was he a tight end?
Yeah. He's a big man.
He's a big dude, man. He should be like a wrestler. Yeah. He should be like a WWE wrestler. Hey, I'm just gonna body slam people. Yeah. But he has so much energy. You feel so bad for him when they lose.
Yeah.
Because it's like, guys, we're right there. We're right there.
Do you guys still watch the Hard Knocks, or have you kind of gotten tired of it? Yeah, I've been watching it. It's fun.
I've been watching it.
Well, it's like The Curse too.
What did you think about the top pick, Aiden Hutchinson, doing the Billie Jean in the first episode? That was cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
You got the team rallied.
He got a little flavor to him.
And the guy in the last show tried to juggle. It's like they're all booing him off the stage.
Yeah, he tried to juggle. Yeah. I tell you what, though. I mean, when you watch that Hard Knocks, it's good for fans because you get a chance to see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the greatest shows it created. Sometimes you get crappy teams on there that you know is only going to win 2 games out of 16. And you're like, oh, turn the channel on. See this. No, this is why they stink. But I give Detroit Lions some credit because they were in a lot of games last year. And I think Jared Goff is a very good quarterback, and they're going to win their share of games. They're not going to be a walkover. They play hard. They play hard for him.
Have you ever seen that Jared Goff video where he goes to some little small college and he's the walk-on? There's already 3 quarterbacks.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, you've got to see this. He puts a wig on, like a big bowl on his face.
Oh, that's cool.
It's freaking hilarious.
You got to have a sense of humor about yourself.
And he really does.
Have some fun.
Yeah, and this was after people were picking on him. He did this video, and you just see what a great guy he is. And he's torching this team. They're like, wait, man, this guy's got an arm on him. So you have to look it up.
So he's a walk-on?
Yeah. And like everyone's like the other quarterbacks. Oh man, look at this guy.
Yeah, especially after they trade you to Detroit and Matt Stafford wins the Super Bowl. You got to have a sense of humor about yourself. That's some cold dealing right there.
That hurt.
Hey, listen up, Bulls Nation. We want to make water healthier for your home and family. So look no further than our favorite new water here in the Hot Sauce Studios, Angel Water. It is delicious. This company is on a mission to provide water free of the toxins and chemicals that can cause long-term damage to your health. We thank Angel Water for providing the Gimme the Hot Sauce team with more than enough H2O to keep us cool and keep those pipes watered throughout the show. Stay hydrated all year with water you can trust. Angel Water. Call 847-382-7800 to get your water tested for free today. Ask for Chief Little Legs. He'll take good care of you. Right?
Listen, all jokes aside, America, this is some damn good water, okay? And I just want to throw that out there because I don't just drink anything. And, this is some good water. Chief Little Legs, you're doing a great job over at Angel.
Now he's blowing up in Florida, East Coast, and now growing on the West Coast. It's crazy.
Okay, all right.
I didn't know the water was so bad in Florida. Who knew?
Yeah, no, exactly. But this is some good tasting water. So shout out to
and Stacey stayed awake through the read today, so I was good. Yeah, we made progress.
Jeez, I wonder what the reason was.
I only go to sleep when Tim reads it. All right, I don't go to sleep when you read anything, Mark. When Tim reads it, I always go to sleep.
We want to give him a professional read this week.
Yes.
Hey, Roquan Smith is back with the Bears, and his teammates on the defensive side are saying that is just a jolt they need to get ready for the regular season. I know that Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson are saying, hey, we got our thumper in there in the middle, and that's going to make a big difference on this defense.
But them pockets was hurting. It was
he knew the first payday was coming, right?
That first payday was coming up, bro. He wasn't gonna be sitting out riding a bike anymore. He like, man, let me go get them pads on. And listen, man. I feel bad for this kid because he's a good player. He's a very good player. He's the number one player on their defense. You know, they're gonna use the fact that, you know, they're not winning and sack totals are down and all this other crap, but he's still an elite linebacker. And what I want to see him this year is to use that as motivation to show everybody in the league, the Bears, because he wasn't getting the interest from the league. That's the reason why the Bears were able to say, well, you know, there's no interest. Right. So if he goes out and has a great year and becomes an all-pro, you know, you're going to have to pay him.
One of the players who took a lot of heat during the Matt Nagy era, of course, was the quarterback Mitchell Trubisky, and he moved on to Pittsburgh after a year with the Buffalo Bills where he backed up Josh Allen. It was assumed he was going to be the starter there, but their number one draft pick, Kenny Pickett, has played so well, it's kind of a wide-open battle to see who's going to start on opening day. And I know you've always been a supporter of Mitch Trubisky. I'd like to see him get another shot in Pittsburgh, but it seems like the fan sentiment is, let's get the rookie in there. Let's see what he can do.
Well, I mean, Kenny Pickett has an advantage because he played at Pittsburgh, and so he has that fan base already coming into the Steelers organization. But I think with Mike Tomlin, you know, he's going to look at the situation because look at the numbers right there. They're very similar. I mean, I know Pickett's thrown a little bit more,
a lot more time, though.
But he's probably going up against like second and third year guys. Where, you know, Trubisky's going against the number one defense and only for probably, you know, a half. But the difference, when you look at the interceptions, oh, Lord, those are the college interceptions? Oh, 32-10. Well, you can't really go on that.
Well, Mitchell only played 1 year.
Yeah, you can't really go on that. But Mitchell Trubisky has looked really, really good in Pittsburgh here in the early going. You know, I think the main thing is not turning the ball over, you know, making right decisions. They got a lot of good weapons on the outside, and they got a decent running game. So when you have a decent running game, Mitchell Trubisky has a chance to really, really shine, as he did in his all-pro season here in Chicago. When they had a running game with Jordan Howard, they had, you know, their play action worked. When you can't run the ball, I don't care what team you are, if you can't run the ball, there is no play action. It doesn't fool anybody. They put 8 in the box, you can play action all day long, they're still blitzing you because they don't respect the fact that fake doesn't work. And so he's on a team now where he's got good receivers, good running back, and he's going to be able to prosper.
Well, speaking of quarterbacks, the NFL lost one of its legends this past week, Len Dawson, the great quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was the starter in Super Bowl I against the Green Bay Packers. He led the Chiefs to an upset of the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl IV. He passed away at the age of 87. And, you know, it's funny with social media. Did you see that shot of him smoking a cigarette on the bench with the Fresca, the bottle of Fresca? Yeah. I mean, that was the way sports were played in the 60s.
That's the one thing I remembered about watching him play was he's sitting over there smoking a cigarette and drinking Fresca. And, you know, I mean, same thing with the wide receiver, Max McGee.
Right,
you know, here's a guy wasn't even supposed to be a starter. He's out partying and drinking the night before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so the guy got hurt in warm-ups and he had to play.
He had to play and ended up being a star in the Super Bowl. Right? Unbelievable. Great stories.
But Len Dawson, even after his playing career, he was part of the Kansas City Chiefs broadcast team for 35 years, and everyone who's met him said just a wonderful guy. So R.I.P. to Len Dawson, one of the true greats of the old AFL and an NFL Hall of Famer. Hey, the WNBA playoffs have reached the semifinal round. The Chicago Sky had to work hard. They won the game in Brooklyn to advance to the semifinals. They play the Connecticut Sun, a team they've swept during this season. But I watched some of the game last night between the Sun and the Wings. The Sun has a lot of size up front. That's going to be a tough series. Yeah,
in those games, and even though the Sky has swept them, they have been close games. I'm telling you right now, America, I'm getting out to one of these
games.
There
you go.
I think they play Sunday
night.
So I may have to slide on out there and see my girl, Parker get out there and Kalia Cooper. She's really the MVP right now.
She is.
She's taking her game to another level. She did that last year on their run. The guard play is really, really good for Chicago. It's an opportunity now because it goes to 5 games now.
Right.
Okay. So it's an opportunity for them to come out and play the way they're supposed to play. You know, take care of home court, and then go steal a game, and then series over. Going to the finals again, probably against the Aces.
Yeah, the top 4 seeds have all advanced. So the other series is the number 1 seed, the Las Vegas Aces against the Seattle Storm. Sue Bird in her final year, 41 years old, still playing well. She had a double-double in one of the games in the first round. Before we get out of here, we want to talk about a huge upset. They're saying the biggest upset in the history of the UFC, Leon Edwards, with a knockout when he was getting beat badly in a fight.
Let me tell you something. This is what makes the UFC so fun to watch, because I watched the fight, and Leon Edwards, he came out in the first round. I thought he won the first round, but from rounds
there's
2,
the kick if you're
right
watching.
there.
Yeah, that's powerful there.
Unbelievable. He was getting beat, just getting dominated. He was getting bullied. Usman was just having his way in the middle rounds, and I think maybe 2.5 minutes away from winning and retaining his title, and then possibly I think either he was going to tie Anderson Silva for the most.
Yeah, tie him.
Yeah, he was going to tie him for the most wins, title wins, and then he just for 1 second. This to tell you how easy this is to get knocked out. He dodges a jab and then gets kicked in the face, and he was out before he hit the ground. And they show Leon Rocky Edwards preparing for that fight, and they showed that same kick that he worked on in practice for months, and it came to pass in this title fight, and it showed up at the right time, because that's the thing, it's a bang type of play. So he's jabbing, and then so Usman kind of fades from the jab and goes down, and Edwards just caught him kicks right in the face. It was a perfect kick.
But haven't you noticed that when something like that happens to a fighter, they don't come back the same? They never do.
Well, I mean, the funny thing about this is I think he will come back.
He'll come back, but the edge is gone. Look at Aldo, who fought the same night.
I mean, that's kind of like a Hail Mary. You're getting dominated, and then all of a sudden you wing a punch and you knock someone out. That's kind of a Hail Mary type thing in UFC. He was getting totally dominated. And so, you look at these other fighters in the middleweight division, Kobe Covington, you've got, Jorge Masvidal. I mean, he's a guy that's already asking for a title shot with Leon Edwards. Everybody, Conor McGregor's even thrown his hat in the ring. Like, yeah, I'll fight the guy. It'll be an interesting fight. But no one really wanted to fight Usman. Usman was dominating people. I mean, beating people up, bully. It was bully. And now it's invincible, and that invincibility is gone. So therefore, he's going to have to regain that and regain his knowledge of the game, and then also get that fear factor back in.
Whispers, you do a Conor McGregor, don't you? Impersonation?
Oh, geez. I'd have to think about that for a
you think he's coming back again?
Yeah, he'll be back.
Because the money will be there, right?
Yeah, but he's also young. People forget how young he is. And what is he, 33 now?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, too much of his own whiskey, though.
Yeah. And proper 12.
Proper 12.
As Hagler says, it's hard to get up at 5 in the morning when you're sleeping in them silk sheets.
Well, Stacey knows about the great treatment, whether it's silk sheets or great limousine rides here to the Hustle and Flow studios. Tell the folks how they can get Windy City Limousine Service.
America. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. I don't think Tim had it today because he wasn't on time. Anyway, I didn't mean to throw him under the bus. But contact us at 847-916-9300. That's 847-916-9300.
And it could be Red Panty Night.
Oh, my God.
That's what we were waiting for. Come on,
There
Whispers.
you go, Whispers.
It's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah, you can't go bad with that one.
No.
Yeah. Hey, we want to thank the Hot Sauce crew for doing a great job as always. They put a lot of time in preparing for the show. If you watch on Twitch or on YouTube, you see all the graphic work they're doing, which is fantastic, really adding to the enjoyment experience of the show. And if you haven't checked it out yet, you really should, because it's, the podcast is great, but getting a chance to watch our fun expressions and all the graphics makes that much better. So special thanks to Jeff Malone for joining us today, and a brand new edition of Gimme the Hot Sauce coming your way next week. So for Stacey and Whispers and the great Hot Sauce crew, we thank you for watching and listening. Stacey, time to get out of here.
Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.